All right, going back to our top story on Trump and Zelenskyy talks, we're joined in by our correspondent Akhilesh Suman. Akhilesh, good morning. Help us understand this better. How will this be carried forward when Trump says that 90% of the peace deal has been finalized and some little thorny issues remain?
Yeah, Trump is saying 90%, Zelensky is saying 95%. So I think optimism is there from both the sides. Other than that, if you see the whole chronology, yesterday Donald Trump talked to President Putin, and I think that was the right direction. That when you are going to talk to someone, you should talk to other party, and I think he has taken the red lines from Putin, that what are the red lines that Russia will not accept. So it was first step done very well. The second step, that Putin, actually, European leaders, Zelensky and Trump, they also talked over phone. So in that way, that was also, part of the whole process that yes, the European leaders should be on board when you are talking any negotiation between Ukraine and, Russia. Because Europe has high stakes and Europe feels itself that its own security is at stake if there is no proper negotiation. So in that way, that process was also followed very well. The third stage that Trump and Zelensky met, and Trump and Zelensky also made an opening statement where they differed somehow on the how many ceasefires Putin broke in between. Zelensky said that 25 ceasefires were broken by Putin. Trump was reluctant to accept this, but anyway, there was no bitter exchange on this. So I think this also went very well between Trump and Zelensky. And then came the joint statement. And then in the joint statement, both have agreed that, U.S. Ukraine security guarantee has been agreed. So in that way, you can say that it is a great achievement for Ukraine because Ukraine has been always scared that if US does not join the security guarantee of Ukraine, it will be difficult to secure Ukraine even after negotiations are complete. So I think that is a very well done. But again, European Union, US, and Ukraine. The three agreements have to be done that how they will be involved in the security of Ukraine if any agreement is reached between Ukraine and Russia. So I think for that officials will talk, they will meet, and in January Trump is trying to meet Ukrainian leaders, European leaders together, maybe in Mar-a-Lago again, because Mar-a-Lago is emerging as a place of peace in the world. So I think in that way, you can say that the achievement of this talk was positive, and one has to see that what are the factors that has led to this achievement. Because in the opening statement, Trump said that U.S. has lots of stakes in Ukraine. U.S. has invested a lot in Ukraine. So in that way, U.S. will want that peace should be established in Ukraine so that their investments can get fruitful results. Now the question is about Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. Who will own and who will operate those plants, and whether Ukraine will get energy from these plants or not, and at what cost? So that is one of the major issues that is very important for Ukraine energy security. And other thing that that Putin, whether Putin will agree on the security guarantees that is being told, because after all, Putin may not like that adversary forces from Europe and America also should be there in his backyard in Ukraine. So that is the two crucial issues other than Donbas, that because Russia wants Donbas in full and Zelensky is not ready to give Donbas in full. So in that way, what talks has been taken place between Trump and Zelensky, it has to come out. And other than that, Zelensky has been saying for quite many days that he has to go to referendum if he has to, cede some territory to Russia. So these 3 points, I think it will come later on when when Zelensky goes to his country and talks to his, advisors and other associates about the territorial, issue. And then it will come in January when Europe, Ukraine, and Trump will talk together about the final result. But I also hope that in between there will be talk between Putin and Trump also, so that they can, decide that now it is a time for peace between Ukraine and Russia. So things are getting smoother, but it has to see the positive results from both the sides. Now it will be very interesting to be seen that whether Russia stops the attack on Ukraine or not, because Russia wants to put as much pressure on Ukraine as possible, so that America and Europe is also under pressure, so that Russia can get the best results possible for its own sake. Preeti.
All right, Akhilesh, when we talk of the near future, how will this pan out with not much confirmation coming in from the Russian side, even though President Trump talked to Vladimir Putin, Russian president, but then how will the situation ease out in the near future, because the peace deal or the arrangement is between US and Ukraine. At the same time, Russian president, in fact, Russia has also accused Europe of being a block to the peace between Russia and Ukraine. Put all this together, how promising would these talks appear to be in the future, and how achievable would these be?
That Russia is quite adamant. That Russia is quite adamant about taking the territory that it wants. Like Donbas, where Russian people are there, Russian-speaking people are there. So in that way, I don't think Russia is going to go much compromise. Ukraine has to understand, and I think that is the whole pressure Trump is putting on Zelensky, that you have to cede some territory, you have to make compromises. If you hear Trump, he will take time and again that you have to make compromises. So if Ukraine has to make compromise, it has to make compromise, because without that compromise, because Russia is having the upper hand. And once you win in the battleground, you cannot, leave on the table, because why will you leave on the table? So I think Russia is going to be, stressing more on the territorial side. And now Trump's role will be how he will, persuade Europe for that. Because Europe is also adamant not to cede any territory by Ukraine. So Europe and Trump has to come to a point where both agree that yes, territorial exchanges have to be made. Territory of Ukraine has to be ceded to Russia, and then Ukraine will also understand the necessity. I think Ukraine has made up the mind. Zelensky has made up the mind, and that is why he is talking of referendum. And I hope that if he goes into referendum, he will get positive results, because Ukrainians are also, fed up with the whole war that is going for 4 years. I talked to some of Ukrainian friends, and they tell that it is becoming very difficult to live, because every time you are scared of some bomb coming from one side or another side, and this cannot be the life forever. So I think Ukraine is ready. Zelensky has to give the green signal, and Europe has to agree. Trump is already agreed. So I think things are going in very positive direction, as far as I understand, as far as the situations are also showing itself, Preeti.
All right, Akhilesh, we leave it here. Thank you so much for joining in with those insights.